Hey.
Long time no talk.
Yeah. Glad you didn't show up in your explicit eye black this episode, Matt.
Is that another article that you were reading?
What's going on today?
George Pickens. You guys didn't hear about George Pickens either?
What sites are you reading, Ben? If me and Nate don't see these stories, where are you getting them?
George Pickens
Is this like New York Times
is
sports?
going to get fined for wearing explicit eye black. Did you even know that that's such a thing?
What is explicit eye black?
Apparently his eye black this week said always fucking open on it.
Oh.
Oh, come on. That's funny.
Yeah, Pickens' eye black included a message that read, always fucking, or open fucking always. It was clearly visible on national TV. You know what? Maybe I didn't see it because he wasn't on the fucking field the whole game.
I love these NFL headlines, these crazy ones you get midweek. You know what I mean? Like you got to just search and they got to write about something. You know what I mean? These writers all get paid to write articles, so they always have to write about something.
So you mentioned that you've been reading articles in preparation of the podcast. What website did you go to find these articles?
That one was on Yahoo.
No.
Okay.
Yahoo.
I don't remember where the other one was on. It was just in my news feed. You know, like the Apple news feed I get. I just scroll through it and it, you know.
Yeah.
I did not see either one of those stories. So obviously we're getting different types of news.
Well,
So I saw George Kittle's now injury free. That happened just before the podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah, they took away the injury designation. By the way, Schefter's slipping because we caught him on conflicting reports a couple of days ago. And then today I got an alert. George Kittle's been removed from the injury report. And like 3 minutes later, Schefter said, with George Kittle questionable to play, the Niners call up a backup tight end.
I saw that. Yep.
Schefter, you're like 3 minutes behind, bro.
you think
and Fred Warner,
he's,
no injury days.
You think he's at a level now where Schefter's not actually doing all his own tweeting? I
don't know. I mean, he's the most trusted person in the NFL. You know, you don't believe a story until Schefter tweets it, right? That's like the whole adage.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him be interviewed on some of these shows, and like during the interview, he's looking down at his phone. He's like, "Oh, hold on, I'm getting and he breaks the interview to break news, and he wants to tweet something out."
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Maybe he's getting too big for himself. Or maybe he's starting to contemplate going the Woj route, and he's starting to think about his career after the news game.
It could be, or he could be scheduling tweets and he misscheduled. Yeah.
Can I just say that I'm very disappointed? Very disappointed.
You can.
I'm trying my best in Dynasty to get the number one pick. And I am projected to beat my guy by like 20 points this week. I'm putting like the worst lineup out I can that's still halfway like respectable. And I'm still favored to win. It's stupid.
Let's look at your team.
Stupid.
Well, let's look at the matchup. Who are you playing this week, first of all?
Shark Week.
Oh,
Shark Week.
It's gonna be hard to take the number one pick away from Adam.
I know, dude. I know.
He's been building toward this number one pick for a few years now. And his team is pretty. Although he put up a good fight against me last week. We played each other last week, and he put up a respectable score because he had a couple of guys that went off. Rashid Shaheed obviously had a great game. Caleb finally had a breakout performance by his standards. Bo Nix, Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he had a pretty good. He's got a lot of young talent on that team.
Yeah.
In Dynasty,
I hope he pulls it out. I really do. I'm pulling for him.
Are we talking about Dynasty or Empire?
Dynasty.
Oh, you're playing. Who are you playing this week?
Adam.
It's Shark Week. It's Adam. It's his team name is Brusn's Cuz.
Oh, I thought that was Ryan and his cuz. Aren't they?
No, Ryan and his cuz is cousins before bros.
Oh, okay. So you can see why I was confused. Okay. Okay. I got it now. You kept saying Shark Week, and I was looking for that name of the matchups. And I was like, where the fuck is that? Am I looking at the wrong thing?
No, Dynasty's so weird. I mean, there's so many bad teams. There's like superstar teams like we always talk about. It's just weird. So weird.
Well, let me ask you a question, Matt, because you've got some players in your team that have started out better than they were expected to this year.
Yep.
And you made it clear in the beginning of the season that you're probably rebuilding, you're ready to move on, and so when you have a player like a J.K. Dobbins, who by all accounts is more lucky than good the first few weeks, right? If you look at all the measurements, they say that he really hasn't been that great of a running back. He just happens to, have you shopped JK? Have you shopped Chuba Hubbard out there to say, hey, what can I get for these guys?
Chuba.
I haven't, but I should. I mean, I thought I made it well known that I'm ready to trade and have traded and offered DJ Moore up, and I haven't heard anything from anybody. So, yeah, I should offer Chase Brown. I should offer fucking Dobbins, Hubbard, Ferguson.
I would say Chase Brown, being his first year, is getting a real. I think he's a second-year pro, right? And I think he's somebody you can hold on to. But Chuba, who he's having a great year. Don't get me wrong, I have him in the main league, and he's really been awesome for me. But they drafted a running back in the second round. That running back is still on the pup right now, and he's not playing. And he may not play at all this year.
It looks like Chubb's going to beat him back. That's crazy,
right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Jonathan Brooks, he may steal that job next year. Chuba, he's a prime trade candidate in Dynasty if I've ever seen one. And he's not young; he's 25.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Come get him.
Yeah, be active, Matt. Be an active trader. You know what I mean? Get out there and send those offers.
Jerry Jeudy's another one, Matt. Jerry Jeudy started out this year season with 11, 12, 13 points. And he's 20? Oh, he's only 25. But you got a couple of guys that you could trade.
The only people who seem they want to trade are like you, Bobby, Ben, and Sean, really. They're the only people who really seem to want to trade for players.
There's only a handful of competitive teams, although Joe's making a name for himself this year. I think, Joe whooped Bobby's ass last week in Dynasty, and it doesn't look like a fluke. Joe's team looks like it's legit. So he may be in the market as well. But shit, if Breece Hall doesn't snap out of his funk, I might be coming after Chuba soon.
Sounds good.
There you go, Matt.
I'm actually trying to trade with Ryan right now for Breece Hall, so give me a second.
In the main league?
Yeah.
Tell us about the trade. What is the offer?
I haven't even looked at all right, hold on. I sent one, he said he sent one back.
All right.
I was thinking about sending him something too, but then I looked at my team and I was like,
I really hope that other trade that I was talking about goes through so that we can really test this new system of counter trades,
Holy shit.
What happened?
Can we take a second?
Breaking news?
Breaking fucking news. AJ Brown logs full practice, baby.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Woo!
I was surprised you didn't have him in your lineup already. They announced on Monday that he was expected back this week.
Yeah, but he hadn't practiced yet, but now he has. It's full practice, logged in. He's fucking back, baby. Now look, the team I drafted, I'm still waiting for it to come to fruition. I got AJ been hurt this whole time. Joe Mixon's still hurt. He's supposed to be coming back at some point, and then my team will really take off. I got these key players.
And, just in time for who are you playing this week?
In the main league.
You're playing me.
I know I am. You changed your damn name to Chasing Sacks. I thought that was hilarious.
That was last week.
Oh, we changed it last week? I didn't see it last week.
Yeah, the best part about the team name
I don't pay attention
isn't really the name. It's the accompanying picture that goes with it.
No, I know the picture. The what did you call it, Matt? This
is more fun.
Joe's thing. Joe's you called it something.
Oh, the Lone Star necktie.
Lone Star
necktie. Oh yeah.
The Lone Star necktie. Yeah, I love that picture. The best. You guys look like you're going to prom together. It's fucking cute. It's cute.
Well, I don't know. You could see his arm in that picture, but you don't quite see his hand. And so I like to think that he's chasing sacks.
Chasing sacks. Now I get it. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept that trade, Ryan, but I will counter.
He's not watching this live, brother.
I know, but he'll see it. He'll appreciate the fucking shout out. Guys like to hear their name, dude. We talk about this every week.
James. Yeah. Wait, who's James?
Well, if you're not going to accept it, tell us what it was.
What was the trade that you didn't tell us your full trade?
Yeah, but we're still in active negotiations.
So am I. I'm going to counter.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
Do you think Ryan would take Etienne?
It's a 3 for 3 though. He's going big. He wants a big one.
Think you take Etienne straight up? No.
Straight up?
Yeah,
No,
no,
probably not.
no. I got a linebacker I can throw in.
The one
Maybe him
constant that I'm
tanking a
seeing
piece.
is that Brian's looking for a poo-poo platter. He's definitely
Oh, I
trading
got
for
that.
pennies on the dollar, but he wants multiple parts. I think he's trying to add some depth to his team.
Oh, I got
So,
poo poo. That's something I got. You know what I mean? He's come to the right place.
you want poop? You've come to the right place.
No. All
Man,
right.
I can't wait to see who our guest is this week. Ben keeping it a secret, not telling us who's going to be joining.
No.
I've got a couple guys in mind that I hope it is, and I've got a couple of guys that I hope not to see.
Close to the vest.
I'm looking forward to it. Did we send out the invite already?
No, not yet.
Let's do that.
We still got
Yeah.
plenty of time.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get it going. While I do that, you guys talk about your favorite thing that's
More
happening.
breaking news.
Oh, so exciting.
Michael Pittman dealing with a back injury that's expected to sideline him for multiple weeks.
No,
Multiple
really?
weeks. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Well, that hurts us in Empire, me and Ryan.
It only hurts me and Gilly, which I'll be all right.
Well, the question is, does it hurt you or help you if Richardson's back? Because in a way, you almost felt compelled to play Michael Pittman the first couple weeks of the season, and he wasn't doing anything. Now you actually have the liberty of saying, okay, I get to bench him while Richardson's playing. And maybe him not having his number one wide receiver forces Richardson to look even worse, which brings back Flacco by the time Pittman's back. So I'm just trying to look at the bright side. It could actually be a good thing for you, Matt, and Ben, and me. I have him in Dynasty.
There you go. The three Pittmans.
I hope they keep Flacco. How do you bench Joe Flacco?
Yeah, it makes no
really
sense, dude. Like he's been performing well. He's that calming ship that you need right now in that offense. You know what I mean? It's so surprising that they would. I mean, you drafted this kid. You want he's supposed to be the future. Maybe they think they fixed him. Was it a mental thing? Was it a mental thing?
I honestly think it has more to do with money. It has to do with like you're promoting this guy. He's on your ticket stubs. He's his posters are all over the stadium, and you're trying to sell his jerseys, and it's like, to me, it doesn't speak to a team that's trying to win games, and it doesn't speak to a coach that has full authority and control over who he gets to start. If we see Anthony Richardson, that tells me that the coach got outvoted by the ownership group, whoever that is, which I guess it's the Colts. It's that one cokehead guy, right? That's the owner.
Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying with that statement, it sounds like you're saying that you believe that Flacco they've had the best chance to win in playoff games with Flacco.
Well, I mean,
I don't think that's true. I think he can get him a better regular season record, but I don't think Flacco's the guy that can get him to the playoffs. I think Richardson, if he gets to who you thought he'd be, would be that guy.
Okay, so that if is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
It
right?
Is.
And I get it. I get it. You want to give the kid time to develop and to grow, and he'll never become a superstar unless he gets the playing time, right? So that's one school of thought. But if you believe that you have a team that's ready to win, which I think the Colts do, they've got a decent defense and they've got a lot of offensive weapons. And you're a coach of a head team, or the head coach of a team. Do you put out Flacco right now, or do you put out the guy that's the developmental project? I mean, as the head coach, you put out Flacco, right?
Let's ask a guy who has aging quarterbacks and injured quarterbacks on his team right now, what he thinks about this situation. Our guest should be joining us any second, if this works out correctly.
Whoa.
Oh,
I hope it stays like that the whole time. Just stay
it's
like
not
that.
connecting. I see who it is now. Should I spoil it?
Hey, Bobo.
Hey,
Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Man, I was hoping it was going to be you this week.
We were talking about somebody who has aging and injured quarterbacks and dealing with injured quarterbacks, and We're talking about Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco. What's your take?
Richardson versus Flacco?
Yeah.
If you're the head coach of the Colts,
Oh gosh.
who do you start?
You start Flacco.
Right? And do you remember last year when Flacco came in for Deshaun Watson and that team all of a sudden looked night and day different? Like all of
Yeah.
a sudden the Browns looked unstoppable. They could not lose a game.
Yeah.
Then, at the end of the day, Watson has that contract. You can't get rid of it. They had to let Flacco go. And we're watching the whole thing play out again this year. They're going to end up going for the money decision and starting the kid again. When clearly that's not the best. If you're a Colts fan, you got to be, pissed off about this, right? You want Flacco, I would think. I don't know. I don't know any Colts fans.
Joe Flacco was always a good quarterback. When was he not? He was
Many
great
years.
coming out. He was always a good quarterback, and he still is. And Richardson's been up and down. What are you going to do with him?
I mean, the Anquan Bolden years, he was really good. You know what I mean?
He lost his job for a reason, though, guys. Don't forget.
Well, he lost his job.
There was bad years with Flacco after he got paid for winning the Super Bowl, and they had no players around him. There was a lot of bad years in his career.
He lost his job to one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Right? So I mean,
still,
it's not like he lost his job to an Anthony Richardson type or a Deshaun Watson. He lost his job to Lamar fucking Jackson.
Woo!
Right. In Lamar's second year, right? Lamar sat for a year.
I think it was the midway through the first year.
Midway. Okay. I know he didn't start at the beginning. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Anyways, Joe Flacco, you're liking Joe Flacco. So Bobby, welcome in, man. It's good to see you.
What's up, guys?
I'm going to tell you why I was hoping it was you, because I know it might be a little bit of a sore subject, but we have to talk about it. I stretched my memory back as far as I could go, and I could not find another degenerate that had a worse week than you did last week. Is this the worst week in degenerate history?
I think it is.
Lost in all three leagues: main league, dynasty, empire, and you were favored in a couple of those leagues. You should have won. You lost all three leagues, and you got knocked out of the Gilly, your second team. Only the fifth week of the season, you've already lost two teams in Gilly.
Yeah.
Is that the worst week in degenerate history? Has anybody ever done worse?
I also lost to a 10-year-old in my family league. Let's just keep piling on. Yeah,
I'm sure you must have won in some leagues, right?
I won in that Down to Rider league with the old Wells Fargo people that you joined in for a couple years.
Okay.
But no, yeah, it was a bad weekend. I didn't watch any football on Sunday. I was kind of busy with some personal stuff that we don't need to go into here, but it was a tough weekend all around. Yeah.
You
I won't pour salt into the wound. I just it was an observation of mine that I saw that you were having a rough week around the board.
Okay, I'm a little that's not like you to not pour salt into the wound.
I was gonna say, I mean, we could pour salt into the football wound. Let's be real. That wound is fresh. We could go there.
Bobby, is there anybody in your team you can trade? What can you do?
On my team, my main league team?
Yeah.
I am so surprised at how good my main league team looks.
Okay, well,
I've got depth. I've got guys on my bench.
I must be looking at somebody else's team. Hold on.
I've got guys on my bench with 10 and 13 projection on what receivers. I've got a 9 on the bench and a running back.
Okay,
I've got a backup quarterback. I don't know how I ended up with a team like this. Maybe I made a couple good trades at the beginning of the year, but it definitely has not reflected. It definitely has not reflected in my record for this league. No, only winning the one game. And I felt good about getting that one win, but there's been a couple other games that I thought I should have won and I didn't. And it does not feel good at all. It's a disappointing start to the season. It's going to be tough to claw my way out of it, but I do feel like I made the moves at the beginning to give myself a chance, and we'll see how that.
You have some pieces to trade, man. You can upgrade. You got some pieces to trade.
You have
to trade about who he's going to trade. I'm curious. this idea that I have a really good team. I mean, obviously, this is your perception of your team. You're looking at these players saying they should be good, but they haven't performed well. I mean, you're dead last in total points scored this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
am.
so, and the players that you traded for, a lot of them aren't performing up to what you expected at the time that you made these trades, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
At least they're
Jamar
playing.
Chase,
They are
Chase
playing.
is putting up 50 points.
They are playing.
Yes, yeah, they are.
I'll
tell you what.
Good job. Well
I'll tell you what, the players that I'm playing instead of CMC, I probably wouldn't be playing Chuba, but he's putting up 27-point weeks for me.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't have even traded for Chuba if I didn't need a running back at that time. So
Look at you helping him
So
out.
you're
Bobby.
welcome.
Good job.
You're
you're playing
welcome.
Olave and Debo, and these guys are putting up 2, 3, 4 points for you.
Yep. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Come, chameleon.
Yes.
Yeah, Debo's he had a bad week, but he's had a decent season.
Do you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw a stat
I'm
that
looking at-
he ran more yards than anybody in football this weekend. So you got the cardio award, 1,320 yards for like 2.3 points. Like, fucking great, dude.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Debo had a couple of good fantasy performances early in the season. I think since he's been back from the injury, it hasn't been as great. And I was actually reading that his yards per touch are the lowest of his career, even including those games that he had prior to the injury.
Well, I mean, you got a workhorse in Mason now. You're just running the ball. You know, it's good. It's working out nice that way.
Yeah, I haven't watched the games as much. Just you expected with CMC being out that he would do, was it last year or the year before? CMC was out a bunch of games and Debo like blew up. And is that just not the case because Mason's in there running hard where normally they'd bring him in and they'd have him run a little? They do it like kind of uses him as a utility guy, all around guy. And is that just not happening this year?
The year you're thinking of was 2021 when he was basically a running back. And that was before we had CMC, and it was because our top 3 running backs all got hurt. We had like Mostert, and we had a couple of other guys. They all got hurt, Matt Breida. And so Debo was basically our running back, and he was a superstar that year. I mean, he had like 8 rushing touchdowns and 12 receiving touchdowns, something like that. And they're not using him like that. They don't need to, and I don't think they want to. They have a running back right now. So.
Yeah, they're fine right now.
Well, that's the best part of the Niners game from the weekend. So let's drop it there.
Are you a little worried about the Derek Carr situation, Bobby, with Olave? I mean, that taking it's got to hurt you there.
I mean, I've always loved David Carr. I've always thought he was a good quarterback too. Same with Joe Flacco, you know.
Like David Carr or Derek Carr?
Yeah.
We're doing
Both.
the same thing, Derek Carr.
Oh,
That obviously hurts him. I mean, who's the quarterback going to be thrown to Olave now?
either Hater or Rattler.
They're saying probably Rattler, which Spencer Rattler has potential. He could be something, or he could be nothing.
He was wild. What I remember
you.
from the draft is he was wild. Like, he didn't play real discipline in college. So,
I mean, Olave is Olave, and I traded for him here, and then in the offseason in Dynasty. So I kind of put a lot of eggs in Olave's basket this year. And Dynasty has hurt too. I mean, Joe's looking great. Joe beat me. You haven't lost, Nate. And, that's the one I had told you when I was at your house that the game against you is big for the year for the division. And now I've got 2 losses and you're 5-0. So Olave getting hurt in that one too hurts, obviously the same as it does in main league. But then it could be Olave's Olave and maybe it doesn't hurt him at all. We'll see. I'm stoked on Wandale in both leagues coming up. I'm actually going to start him this week. But I've got a tough matchup on a very formidable opponent in main league who is very smart and very handsome and doesn't look red this week. Which is very, very important. So
he looks a little red.
The what you have going for you, Bobby, is that
buttering him
the last 2 weeks when we had guests on, those guests all of a sudden blew up. Right, Joe's team went crazy last week, scored 170 something points. The week before we had Sean on, his team's gone crazy the last few weeks, scoring like 200 and something points. So I actually thought Matt was going to push back a little bit on having you on this week because. I'm surprised that he let Ben invite you, to be honest with you, because
a little podcast curse.
Was it Ben's idea?
We'll never know. We'll never know.
I think Nate's trying to get you a little bit of favor, Bob. Nate's
I
working
mean,
behind the scenes to
It may
try
have
and
something to do
lose.
with your. Does it have anything to do with your 21-point lead in the projections for the week in the matchup? I think you're probably sitting pretty.
Yeah,
Never sitting pretty in football, buddy. Never.
It's
the other
true.
thing you have going for you, Bob, is that yes, you're the lowest scoring team, but you're only one game out of your division lead right now.
Mhm.
Justin's only got 2 wins. Alex only has 2 wins, and his team has been decimated by injuries.
Yes.
And then you have Ben, who only has 2 wins. So
That's right.
it's a very winnable division.
Yeah, I
I
can't-
could see somebody winning this division with lower than a 500 record.
Hmm.
So I would say, keep your chin up, buddy.
My chin is definitely up. When I left that, I mean, 8 minutes into the draft, my draft was over, and I was in just like shell shock. Like, what happened? Yeah, my chin is not down at all. I look at my team and I go, I've got a chance. I've got a chance every week. I've got a chance with these players that could blow up. They could be, they could be boom or bust players, which obviously it's shown more bust than boom to the late. But I definitely feel my chin's not down.
When you're looking up from the bottom up, your chin's always up, buddy.
Always up. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's true.
Well,
That's
Matt brought up
that's
a good
some
point
fucking
earlier.
astute shit right there, brother. I'll tell you what.
I mean, I don't know what Matt knows about looking up.
Not much.
But Matt brought up a good point about trades. I mean, that was part of your mystique in the beginning part of the year. You did those 2 big trades. You even changed your team name to Stacking Snipes, and you've been kind of quiet the last several weeks. I mean, maybe that's the spark you need to get back into this race, is doing another big swing, right? Maybe you have somebody else on your team that you can throw out there, and even if you're not winning by the trade calculator, maybe just taking a big swing is what you need to do to get back in this thing.
I had one going last week that I thought I was going to get done. I'm actually glad I didn't, because I've had second thoughts on the player that I was going to trade for. But it happens to be one of the guys that you had mentioned on the last week's pod, one of the 2 very difficult people to trade with in the league.
Ben's right
trade?
here.
Did you try and offer me something?
No, you weren't one of the 2 examples.
Oh, okay, good.
What
I
was
finally lost the moniker. Wow, look at that.
the trade? You could tell us.
Tell us, buddy.
We're all
The
friends.
trade-
We're
Here,
all,
let
yeah,
me
we're
see
all
if I can-
friends.
I can probably figure out what the trade was.
So,
I
Bobby,
don't remember.
Ryan's looking to trade Brees Hall, but Ryan wants wide receivers. You have wide receivers, Wando Robinson, Olave. He's not asking very much. I think your team would look really good with Brees Hall on it.
I feel like I've got the receivers and at least a running back to throw in that would be comparable to be able to get a Brees Hall.
There's
I
three
actually
or
could
four.
be-
There's 3 or 4 trades happening right now live on the pod with Ryan. So you should probably throw your hat in the ring.
I could be a good trade partner for Ryan. We've had trade discussion in the past. It hasn't of late gone well, but I believe him and I could get something together. Yeah.
Yep.
The trade with Alex was pretty cool. So I was trying to go for Mark Andrews, to get a good tight end.
You were trying to get Mark Andrews or give him away?
I was trying to get Mark Andrews. I've got Hawks still in the IR. I know he hasn't done well. And
Is that what you look for in trade targets?
after this week, and I think it was, I haven't watched a lot of football this year, so I think that might be it. I'm thinking of what I think of Mark Andrews, not what he's done recently.
No, I think you should definitely reconsider that. Now is the right time to buy low on Andrews, and I think he would look really nice on your team. I think that's just my opinion. I'm trying to give you advice.
Yeah.
That's all.
I want to know right now how many
Leave the
people,
past in the past, Bobby.
how many of us are actively texting
Future.
Ryan during this podcast?
I haven't yet, but I do have
You
a
should
trade
be.
sitting on my desk right now.
That's
I was
funny.
gonna counter this after the pod's over.
I might have started my texted with "Hey boo," just
Oh, you're trying to warm him up, huh? Trying to butter him up a little bit.
I'm trying to find the message with him to figure out
All right,
which
Nate.
one.
While he's looking, we talked about Olave earlier. I'm
Oh,
concerned
I got
about
it.
Rashid and Olave's value going forward. How do you see those two going forward? I think Rashid's
Okay.
been better this whole season.
He's a better wide receiver, and in fact,
think so.
Rashid will get drafted for a higher premium next year than Olave will. I'll say that right now. I don't see that
Ooh.
changing. If you look at
Really?
every game they played this year, and I've watched all the Saints games pretty close, Rashid just looks like the better receiver, and it's not just on the deep threat. It's he's a better possession receiver. He's the guy that Carr trusts. And Olave just he hasn't been the same player since his rookie year. Even last year was sort of a down year for Olave. He's still living off of the pedigree that he came from college from Ohio State. But
Interesting.
I really think
Interesting.
Shaheed is the better guy.
Okay.
I was gonna say I think Rashid.
That does not compute at all with me either.
No, I mean you've watched the games this year, haven't you?
Mm-mm.
No.
Hey,
You've been a busy boy.
The one at your house, but I don't know if that was the one I slept halfway through.
You've
All right,
been busy
what was
with
the
all
trade, Bob? What was the
these
trade?
live shows. In fact, that's the other thing I want to ask you about, Bob, is I believe it was about a year ago right now, probably around week 5, week 6, where on this very podcast, we first challenged you to do some stand-up comedy. We thought, hey, Bob's been getting involved and doing these videos. Bob, why don't you go do some stand-up comedy? And that's really kind of blossomed. You started with the stand-up, and now you're doing the live shows. You're in a band. You've got a whole scene that you're part of out there. And
Yeah.
what I want to know is how much credit do you give to the three of us on this podcast for re-sparking your live performing career?
I do. 99%. I do. I talk about it all the time. It's something that I've talked about in numerous times, getting up and doing a little 5-minute stand-up routine. It's something I talk about with people at these different open mics and different scenes that I'm in. I talk about it all the time. I give you guys credit all the time that you guys challenged me to go do this thing, and I was working at home and didn't know anybody, and I started going out and having one night a week to go and have a beer and get up and say stupid stuff for 5 minutes. And then a couple people, Sean, Alex, Adam, couple people, a few of you were like, you're still going and doing stand-up. A couple people reached out and said, keep going. You might meet some creative people that play music. You might meet some people to jam with. Sure enough, one of these guys is comedy and music, and he does an open mic that's called Mixed Media, where it's poetry, music, comedy, spoken word, like just whatever. And wait, I can go there and just play a couple songs on guitar, and that's where this all started. So really, yes, I give you guys full credit for that, and I really appreciate that. Last year was fun with the videos and the different suggestions you guys gave. I felt a real participation. I felt really excited doing those things, and then when you guys suggested the comedy thing, again, it was just supposed to be a video, and I was like, well, is it crazy to go and do it live? I'm so glad I went and did that. I'm so glad I had this crazy thought and went and I tell people this story all the time. I thought if I found a real open mic and went and did that and filmed it, it wouldn't mean anything to these people. It would just be for my friends back in California, and I send you the video. It just kind of it snowballed into this, and now I've got some cool things happening.
You got
here.
a community.
I was going to say the same thing, brother.
Yeah.
You found a community. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You know
most
what?
importantly, you found a distraction that's taken you away from fantasy football, which benefits the other 11 of us.
Yeah.
Just couldn't
Boom!
let it go.
We fucking dude, we've been masterminding this shit, bud, for
Hey.
fucking 3 seasons. We've been
Dude.
working on it.
The Puppet Masters.
No,
I love it.
no,
I love it.
hon-
I could honestly care less about fantasy football with
tell.
the rush of feeling and passion that I get when I'm up playing. Or, I mean, the one last night, the one that I host, the one on the big stage, you've seen a couple videos of, I'm up there with 80% of the acts. I play with 8 or 9 bands every Tuesday at this one, because now they're texting me, hey, I want to play this song. Hey, I want to play this song. Oh, I'll play piano on that one. I'll play the drums on this one. I'll play the bass on that one. And It's
All right,
it's lit
all
a
right.
fire.
If I say it out loud, it might happen. Bobby's gonna buy a bar, and he's gonna be the house band.
I was
That's
just
gonna
gonna
be his
say
future.
this has been Bobby's dream forever to be the house band somewhere, and it's
hell
finally
yeah.
happening, and I
Buy
love
a
it.
bar, dude.
Yeah,
Do
well,
it.
don't even
So
be
the
to
real
buy a
question
bar.
is-
Just keep doing what you're doing.
The real question is, what hobby can we give Jeff that'll distract him?
Yes.
Jeff's
Yeah.
dad used to build birdhouses. Maybe we can get Jeff into birdhouses, like his old man. Bobby, if nothing else comes of this podcast ever, anything other positive shit, I feel at least we in a way it made a positive impact on you. So there we go.
Huge.
I feel good.
Huge. It's not understated at all. And
That's
again,
cool,
I
Bob.
talk about it all the time to everybody.
Now, how are you going to turn your fucking season around? That's a good question.
Man. Oh, by the way, talk about buying a bar. They just put realty for sale signs on this one that the big one that we do, and we're all freaking out because they're talking about maybe they need investors. Maybe
You all throw
they're
your
gonna
money
sell.
together, call the community.
And it's like,
Damn.
is there any way for something like that to happen? I mean, it's a historical building. This is an amazing location. Someone said Walmart wants to buy it and buy the whole block and tear it down and expand the park in this downtown area. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's
It sounds like
If you need investors, you let us know.
I definitely might. Yeah.
it also sounds like a little Empire Records moment where you guys can have a little show to raise money to purchase this building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or multiple shows.
Little
We're doing
recording
all kinds
studio
of
in the back.
shows there. They've got all kinds of shows there all the time. They just had this comedy weekend where they had comedy things all over. That guy Cam Patterson that's been on the Kill Tony show, which I had never seen before until everybody.
He's the guy who likes rocks, right? I
Sorry?
like rocks.
I think so.
Yes,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
rocks
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He always brings the rocks in his pocket. Yeah, they're doing shows all the time, all kinds of different shows here, but yeah, it's a fun little scene.
That's
and,
cool.
and I'm having fun just playing whatever I want.
That's awesome.
All right, Bobby. So I told the guys earlier in the last pod that I was going to ask all of our guests this question. So I don't know how much time we have left, but I want to make sure I don't forget to ask you. If you had your way and you could put through any rule change without a vote in any league, what's the one rule change that you would put through?
Ooh, rule change that I would just
2-minute drill.
slam.
2-minute drill. Here we go.
Oh man, yeah, that's tough.
So
They'll
nothing
get
you
better
thought
at
about that
this.
you've always wanted, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think my first thought is I don't know where to start. I've been so indifferent. It feels like for a few years. I mean, really, when I think back, it's since we had kids. Sundays have just not been the same since I had kids. I'm spending time with them all day when I would normally be watching football on 5 screens. I think that's the biggest thing. So,
Are you
I don't
saying you
know.
want to
What-
move the day we play football?
what rule I would put? I don't know.
Are you saying the rule is to not have kids? I think I know where we're going with
That's the
this.
rule, man.
I mean, I was the worst at that. I will never hear the end that I ruined Sean's first weekend, draft party weekend with having a kid. And I know I missed a couple, breaking the rule of having sex at the wrong time, but I wouldn't change any of that stuff for.
No, it wasn't having
anything.
sex. You couldn't. It's not that we took sex off the table. Just getting pregnant was off the table, dog. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You got to pull out, bro. That's the
Yeah.
rule I would put through.
All right, you got less than a
This
minute.
month.
You got less than a minute, Bob, to give us something. You got
I
less
mean,
than a
I
minute.
don't like the trade, the keeper rule. I would go back to an old keeper rule. I think having that hit happens. I think there's zero value in keepers now. I've been saying this every time. You guys talk about trading keepers at the beginning of the year.
Now switch to
preseason before-
sing. You got to sing us out. Come on, sing us out.
Sing us out.
Sing the new rule to us. What is
Yeah.
the actual
What-
proposal
what's-
that you're making? And
Go
sing it.
back to keepers are one round before you got him. Like Arian Foster. Hey, you
Now
guys
do a little
never
dance.
noticed. You guys never noticed one thing. If we have a few seconds, the
You
last
have
Only
a
if
guitar, like maybe
the
a
last
ukulele.
pod I was on, you guys never noticed